Today we're just going to discuss some random things, but then we're going to go into the benefits of burdock root. But before I talk about that, I just want to mention, as a Black content creator here on YouTube, we have many barriers already in front of us. Algorithm biasness, those who monetize your channels, you don't get as much as the white boys because the top performers on this YouTube channel are non-Black people, and what they're selling is nonsense. One of them is selling children's songs or something like that. Another one, wrestling nonsense. Another one is the Indian channel. So, as a Black YouTube creator, we have to realize that the field is tilted against us. So, we have to be true to ourselves and talk about what really fires us up, what really impassions us. For me, it's herbology, holistic living, such as discussing herbs, how herbs have impacted my life. So I am going to keep on pressing. I'm not here for numbers. I will never monetize my channel, even if I reach 10,000 subscribers. I would never monetize it because I don't think it's fair to you to have your content interrupted with some ad that doesn't even pertain to what we're discussing. And there are ads everywhere. They're intrusive, they're annoying. So I do not and will not ever monetize this channel, thus including ads. Okay, so the content will always be 100% ad free. Now, on to what we're talking about. We're talking about the benefits of burdock root. Sorry about that. We're talking about the benefits of burdock root, which is a component in Dr. Sabi's herbs, what he talked about a lot. And burdock root is very good herb because it's very good for digestion. It's rich in antioxidants, anti-inflammatory effects. It supports skin health. It may lower blood sugar, potential cancer fighting properties, aids in digestion and gut health, diuretic properties, and other potential benefits, such as lowering the bad cholesterol, LDLs. And it might help regulate body weight and decrease fat buildup in the liver. Hello, Daniel Flores. Grimaldi, welcome. New subscriber, welcome. So, burdock root is a natural healing herb. Okay, it helps to reduce stress also because I take those herbs every day to deal with any stress. Hello, Renee. I hope I said your name correctly. Welcome. So, let's get down to the business of how it benefits digestion. All right. Burdock root effects on digestion. Because burdock root is kind of like a mucilage, it has that slippery texture to it. So it helps. Oh, welcome. Welcome. Um, but it helps to heal the mucosa of the gut lining. Okay, it provides nutrients for the gut lining because today we are eating foods that are full of toxins, they're full of chemicals that are not helping us to thrive. So we have to have some type of support. And we get that from herbs. Herbs, it's kind of like an adjunct to your meals that you eat. Okay, I'm vegan, but my herbs are adjunct to the medicinal effect of the food that I eat. I eat to live. It's kind of like what Elijah Muhammad talked about in the 70s when he published that book, Eat to Live. That's what first got me into holistic living. I was about 11 years old when I first read that book in the 70s, and I became hooked because I knew as a Black person I did not want to eat plantation food. That's ham hocks, pork, fried chicken, all of that stuff. It wasn't healthy for us. Okay, the African genome is not designed to eat animal products and high salt products. Okay, an herb to enhance sleep is lavender. Lavender. That is a great herb for sleep. Lavender Chamomile is good for sleep. Valerian is good for sleep. Dan Norbs, those are really good for sleep. Lavender, chamomile, valerian, also blue vervain, because the herbs that I just mentioned, they address also the nervous system. Because in order to get a good night's sleep, you have to calm down your nervous system. If your nervous system is stressed out, it's difficult to get to sleep. So lavender tea, valerian, chamomile, blue vervain, they're great for sleep. But first, talk to your doctor because there could be a possibility of underlying issues that can cause insomnia. So it's always good to talk to a medical professional and then broach them with the subject of herbs. Like, hey, I heard that lavender, chamomile, valerian is good for sleep. Would it, and if you're on any type of medications, ask them, would these herbs be counterindicated? Hello, Bernard Clay. Hi to you also. So you ask your doctor, would the herbs be counterindicated to any of medications that you may be on? Because you always want to be careful. You always want to use caution when trying out a new herb that you never used before. Hello, Kay. How are you? So you want to take care of yourself. And welcome to the chat. So this chat is about burdock root, the benefits of burdock root. It can be purchased at any health food store. It can be purchased online. I'll provide links to where you can purchase burdock root, organic burdock root powder. And that way you can add it to your wellness repertoire. But always consult a medical professional before trying any new herb or supplement. Okay, one thing that is great about burdock root, it is rich in inulin probiotic fiber, rich in inulin probiotic fiber. Burdock root is an excellent source of inulin, a type of subtle fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria. It is very good for your gut and it's beneficial for your gut. Okay, it promotes healthy microbes, supporting effective digestion, immune function, and nutrient absorption. Now, the gut is very important in your immune system health. If your gut is not healthy, then your immune system defenses are much lower. They're weakened. So a healthy gut leads to a healthy body. Okay? Second, it improves bowel regularity and relieves constipation. Okay, the fiber in burdock root increases stool bulk, making it easier to pass and helping to relieve constipation. And in animal studies, burdock root improve intestinal motility and help repair the intestinal barrier, suggesting potential for relieving functional constipation in humans. It is a very important herb. No, Torah, I'm not discussing the Bible. I'm talking about the herb burdock root, which the late, great Dr. Savy promoted in his herbs. Welcome, Torah, and blessings to you. So we're discussing natural herbs, which are mentioned in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, Ezekiel, and Revelation, how the herbs are for the healing of the nation. So the Creator gave us natural herbs in which to provide us health and wellness. The herbs is the first line of defense before you go to the drugstore, because a lot of the medications in the drugstore, they have one single active ingredient, and that is more, and which is more aggressive on the body, hence side effects. But the herbs, you get in the complete chemical and phytonutrient panel of the herb itself. So there are less chances of side effects when you take them. Okay, so also the reason why it's great for your intestinal health, it reduces bloating and indigestion. Burdock root can help decrease bloating, indigestion, and other digestive discomforts due to its fiber and anti-inflammatory compounds. It also supports gut lining and reduces inflammation. Compounds in burdock root like mucilage and antioxidants protect the gut lining from irritation and reduce inflammation that can result from food intolerances or digestive distress. Second, it supports overall gut health and may offer relief for conditions like irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, gastritis, and acidity. Those of you who have gut issues, talk to your doctor about burdock root. Ask them how would it be a good idea to add burdock root onto the your health regimen. Burdock root tea, which you can find at a health food store. Also, it promotes bile flow and fat digestion. It helps your body to break down fat in the gut. Burdock root may stimulate bile secretion, aiding the digestion and absorption of fats. Okay? Detoxification support. Traditionally, burdock root has been traditionally used for thousands of years to cleanse the liver and to promote efficient elimination of toxins, which helps digestive organs function optimally. Now, possible side effects. Some people may experience gas or bloating after consuming burdock root, especially if their digestive system is sensitive to increased fiber. That's why it's very important to discuss this with your doctor or an herbalist, a licensed herbalist, or with your doctor or a doctor who practices integrated medicine. Integrated medicine is a combination of allopathic medicine with traditional ancient medicine. Allopathic medicine is Western medicine. They're the new kids on the block. They only been around for about 200 to 300 years. Okay? So when you look at choosing a herb, you want something that is kind of give you overall support. And what I like about burdock root, it addresses the gut, because when your gut is out of order, you are out of order. Okay? When I had issues with my intestine because I was eating the wrong food, I started taking herbs that contain burdock root, and it corrected it. But I also talked to the doctor and let them know, look, this is what I'm taking. This is what I have added to my health regimen. Okay? So before you try burdock root, just talk to your doctor. But the general safety of burdock root is safe as a food. Burdock root is generally considered safe to eat or use in tea form when purchased from reputable sources. Always make sure you get your herbs from a reputable source, be it a health food store or online source. And I'll provide some links to reputable sources that I deal with, reputable vendors. Okay, now you have to make sure you don't get burdock root from, just go out there and go picking it up from the forest, because burdock root, especially wild burdock root, resembles those of toxic belladonna, which is a deadly nightshade. So don't go picking it unless you are familiar with herbs and know what they do. So, because you can get potential contamination. That's why it's wise to purchase it from a reputable source. Okay, you want to be really careful with that. If you're pregnant, it's best to always consult your doctor before taking any herb. And also, if you want to give it to your children, talk to their doctor first. Okay? Always be careful. And if you're breastfeeding, if you're nursing, always talk to your doctor before trying anything new, like a substance, such as a supplement. Okay, now drug interactions. We're going to be, we believe in presenting both sides when it comes to herbs. Possible drug interactions. Burdock root is kind of like a diuretic. It releases water from the body. Okay, Diuretics such as water pills. Combining burdock root and diuretic drugs such as Lasix increases the risk of dehydration. When taking herbs, you want to take, okay, belladonna. I don't know about belladonna. Belladonna is part of the nightshade family, and it has been known to be toxic to many people. That's something you will, Martha Young, you want to consult a doctor about, or a naturopathic doctor or licensed herbalist about. Because I'm not a licensed herbalist. I'm just speaking for anecdotally from experience, and I'm sharing with people what helped me to get better and get healthier. But anything concerning the belladonic family, you want to consult a licensed herbalist or talk to your doctor, because you don't want to take that without professional advice. Okay. Now, anticoagulants such as Coumadin, blood thinners, heparin, burdock root may slow blood clotting. Using it alongside blood thinners, warfarin, aspirin, uh, clepidogrel, and NSAID. NSAIDs. You don't want to mix it with those type of medication. It can increase the risk of bruising and bleeding. Okay, so if you're on diabetic medicines, anticoagulants such as heparin and Coumadin, if you're on metformin or insulin, you want to consult your doctor. You're quite welcome, Martha Young. You're quite welcome. Also, diabetic medicines such as metformin and insulin. Diabetes medicine, it may interact with burdock root, potentially causing hypoglycemia, okay, low sugar. So if you are diabetic, please do consult your doctor before trying burdock root, okay? And be sure to monitor your blood sugar closely if you're combining these together once your doctor said it was okay. Other medication interactions may increase risks of bleeding during and after surgery. Stop use 2 weeks before scheduled procedures. No known interactions with milk thistle, but always consult a healthcare provider for personal recommendation. Do not use this in high doses. A half a teaspoon is fine. But like I said before, always consult a naturopath or your doctor. Don't just go out there willy-nilly and try it and then you have a weird side effect. You want to use wisdom when trying out these new herbs or something that's unfamiliar to your body. When I first started using herbs, I was very nervous because I was conditioned to think that herbs are ineffective or they are poisonous. I was conditioned by the medical profession. A lot of us black folks, we get conditioned by them telling us what they think is good for us. But the African genome, which is our genetic makeup, is designed for herbs. It's not designed to be taken westernized medicine. So if you can find a black herbalist or a black doctor that is all about herbs, then you're lucky. Because lots of times we as black people, we get sidetracked. You know, when I had problems with my thyroid, I went to the doctor. They put me on medications that nearly killed me because my body was not designed to process man-made drugs. So I had to learn about herbs and learn about herbology and what benefits the African genome. But burdock root is amazing. You can get it as a tea. Start out using it as a tea. You know, use it as a tea. Because that way you can try it and see if you like it. Because it's very beneficial to those of us who deal with high sugar. It can lower blood sugar. It can and will lower your blood sugar levels. So which enhances the effect of diabetic medications such as metformin and other types of medications, insulin. So you want to be really, really, really careful. Now, we're going to talk about another herb that I really like, or that is really popular, and that's valerian. Okay, because a lot of people enjoy using um, valerian root, but that also you have to be mindful when you use valerian root. Okay, but what I like about valerian root, it improves sleep and insomnia. Okay, it's really good and it's gentle. It's not addictive. Okay, it doesn't build up a tolerance. Valerian root, it improves sleep and insomnia and provides insomnia relief. Valerian root has been used for centuries to help with insomnia and sleep disorders. Studies suggest that it may help people fall asleep faster, improve sleep quality, and reduce nighttime awakenings. Although more robust scientific evidence is still needed to fully confirm its effectiveness. Second, it reduces anxiety and stress levels. Valerian root contains compounds like valer, valerian, valerianic acid, which may have anti-anxiety effects by increasing gamma aminobutyric acid gamma levels in the brain, producing a calming effect. It has shown some promise in easing anxiety and stress, though research is not conclusive enough for medical recommendations. Because, they don't want us to have this information. They don't want us to go and turn to herbs because Big Pharma loses money. I was making Big Pharma some big money when I was on all their drugs. Now I'm not on any of their drugs except for occasional Benadryl. But Big Pharma wants you to be dependent. They treat the disease. They don't treat the person. Dr. Sabi, I am a follower of the late great Dr. Sabi. He promoted wellness through herbology, holistic herbal medicine. And that's why he lost his life, because he was getting too many black people healthy and getting too many of us off of Big Pharma, off of Big Pharma's teat. We were no longer dependent upon the medical association to provide our health care, even though we still go to the doctor 3 times a year for our lab workup. It's always good to go see a doctor for your lab workup so you know what's going on inside your body, to know if your iron levels are good, your cholesterol levels are good. Not all doctors are against herbal medicine. I have a doctor. She's very understanding that I use herbs as medicine. She's all for it. So I got lucky and came across a great medical doctor who supports the use of herbs. She do not believe in just whipping out the prescription pad and putting people on medications. She is one that would suggest trying an herbal solution first before prescribing the drug. Okay. All right. Now, it reduces anxiety and stress. Valerian root contains GABA type, uh, it contains compounds that will help the gamma levels in the brain, and it produces a calming effect. It has shown some promise in easing anxiety and stress though research is not conclusive enough. Okay, but in my experience, it has really worked for me. When I take my Nervies compound later in the evening, I'm ready to go to bed. It eases me into the sleep stage, and it promotes a longer duration of REM stage, the rapid eye movement stage of sleep. That's when you get the most benefits from sleeping. Okay, menopause and hot flash relief. Okay, some research indicates valerian root can help reduce the severity and frequency of hot flashes in menopausal women, offering an alternative for those who cannot use hormone replacement therapies. Okay, so it has many benefits. Fourth, premenstrual syndrome, PMS relief. A lot of women may really benefit from adding valerian to their health regimen. Okay, valerian root may help alleviate physical and emotional symptoms of PMS, such as cramps, bloating, irritability, and mood swings. Fifth, 5. Easing tension headaches. Valerian root calming properties may help reduce the severity of tension headaches in some individuals. Okay, support for restless legs syndrome. There is some evidence that valerian may improve symptoms of restless legs syndrome and decrease daytime sleepiness. So, what I like about valerian, it's not addictive. Like some man-made sleep aids, they can be very addictive, and they can build up to a high tolerance, and thus cause you to be addictive. And then over time, they lose their therapeutic effects, because then the doctor has to keep on increasing the levels of man-made sleep aids. But valerian root it reaches a plateau and it keeps you even. I have added it to my nerve aids formula because I formulate herbs. Okay, someone mentioned here a gut detox. A gut detox, the best way, I think, for gut detox. Now, I have a formula that I use that I formulated myself after doing a lot of research. Cascara sagarda. That is very good for cleansing the gut. Cascara sagarda. And that is spelled, okay, let me go in here. That is very good for the gut. Cascara sagarda. Um, and it's part of the cell and gut cleanser formulation that I use, that I formulated. It contains cascara sagarda. Okay, that is very good for the gut, cleansing the gut. But I suggest that you talk to your doctor about using herbs to cleanse your gut. Sea moss gel is really good for cleansing the gut and maintaining gut health. Sea moss gel, or Irish sea moss, which you can purchase online at Amazon. A lot of reputable sellers, they sell it on Amazon. Sun Source is a really good reputable vendor of sea moss, Irish sea moss. Sun Source. It's a brand that's sold on Amazon, and you can use it to heal your gut. Okay, because the first step to a gut detox is healing your gut while you're moving the toxins. And another way to promote a gut detox is to add more fruits, raw fruits and vegetables to your diet. Because fruits, they have high fiber, they can scrub the gut of anything that's clinging to the walls of the gut. Adding more vegetables and fruit to your diet is the first step to gut health. A lot of people recommend yogurt, but dairy products are not good for us. In my experience, dairy product has caused allergies and more gut complication. Olive oil, that's a good one, but we're not talking about olive oil today. We're just talking about the herbs. Because the best gut cleanser would be cascara sagarda, and or blessed thistle or rhubarb root, for for cleansing the gut. Um, copy. Burdock root, cascara sagarda. That's good for gut health. Um, and so let's see at this pace. Let's see what that says. All right. Cascara sagarda is a herbal remedy made from the bark of the Ramus persicana tree, native to the northwestern United States. Historically, it has been used by indigenous peoples in traditional medicine as a natural laxative and for digestive health, gut health. Okay, so the key benefits of cascara sagrada is primarily known for its strong laxative effect. It stimulates bowel movements by encouraging muscle contractions in the colon, making it effective for relieving constipation and emptying the colon. Also, A digestive cleanse. Okay, a digestive cleanse. Cascara sagrada. Okay, it helps cleanse the intestines and may flush out toxins and mucus from the digestive system. Okay, other traditional use include it supports liver and gallbladder health, relieves hemorrhoids, assists with high blood pressure, congestion, and nervous system protection. However, these uses are not strongly supported by clinical research. Now, when it comes to this particular herb, you only use it for a brief period. You don't want to use it over 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, you want to discontinue. But like I said before, and I can't reiterate this enough, always consult a naturopathic doctor or your own private health provider before trying these herbs. Okay, because cascara sagarda, cascara sagarda is very powerful herb. It forces the toxins and the poisons out of your gut. Okay, and it promotes healthy bowel health. So it's very wise to first talk to your doctor because there may be underlying issues. If you're having gut issues, there might be underlying concerns. So you want to go to your doctor, have them run tests to rule out anything else. Then you could start taking herbs because then you realize, okay, it's just I need to bring some natural herbs on board. As there isn't any bowel obstruction, there isn't any cancers or anything of that sort. So once all that's been ruled out, then you can sit down and discuss with your doctor about what herbs to take, which promotes gut health. Because I tried eating yogurt, that wasn't helping me. It just made it worse because the African genome is not designed to consume dairy products. We're not built for that. The African genome, from which all of civilization has descended from, we're not designed to eat what everybody else can eat. Okay. So we have to be mindful of that. It's good to look up Dr. Sabi. I'll provide a link to his lectures. He goes more in depth about these herbs and the benefit of the herbs and how they work with the African genome. Because I'm speaking from the perspective of someone who is of African descent. Yes, I have Scottish, Irish all through my family lineage, but I'm predominantly Black. So I have to work from that perspective. And what works for me are the herbs that Dr. Sabi has recommended. And they are beneficial for me. They have helped me to do a 150. I went from being bedridden to being able to be up and about and be able to walk from anywhere from 6 to 10 miles without stopping and without any discomfort. That is how herbs can change your life by eliminating sugar. Cane sugar is a poison. Cane sugar is highly addictive. You know, cane sugar will get you addicted real quick. It's highly addictive. And um, that's why a lot of people, when they, and myself included, when I used to be addicted to sugary products, I was addicted to anything that had cane sugar in it. Okay, and what makes cane sugar potentially addictive? It activates the brain reward system. It's like a drug, like a street drug. It activates the brain reward system by stimulating the release of dopamines and opioids in the brain's reward center, similar to the effects of certain recreation drugs like cocaine. Okay, this can encourage repetitive behaviors and cravings, especially in individuals with predispositions to addictive behavior. It leads to cravings and binging. Repeated consumption of sugar, white sugar, or any type of sugars that comes from sugar cane can lead to binging and withdrawal symptoms. Okay, classic signs of addiction seen in animal studies and some human experiences, such as binging and withdrawal. Okay, neurochemical changes. It can alter the chemicals in your brain. Okay, excess sugar intake may alter brain chemistry, changing both gene expression and the availability of dopamine receptors, which strengthen cravings and make it difficult to cut back. Also, it leads to compulsive behavior. People may eat sugary foods even when it leads to negative health consequences, which is another hallmark of addictive behavior. So, and also, the health implications. Sugar addiction can increase risk for obesity, diabetes, liver disease, and memory deficits. And so, the World Health Organization recommends not exceeding 10%, preferably less than 5% of daily calories from added sugar. Okay? And here's the thing, sugar is a drug. That's why candy sells. That's why a lot of children, when you're in the checkout line, and those of you who have small children or even teenagers, they want that candy. They want that candy. And also starches, such as potatoes. It breaks down the sugar, which leads to cravings, later cravings, because it breaks down slower than just plain candy, but it also leads to cravings. So sugar is not your friend when it comes from cane sugar. There are other sources of sugar such as agave, coconut sugar, date sugar, maple syrup. I use maple syrup to sweeten my chicory, which is what I use as a coffee replacer. I used chicory instead of coffee. And I use cane sugar to sweeten it. And it is beautiful, works out just fine. So I switched from being addicted. I used to eat cane sugar by the spoonful. 40 years ago, I was eating cane sugar by the spoonful. That's how addicted I was. And it led to me being diagnosed as pre-diabetic. I was on my way to being placed on metformin or insulin. And it led to me having a lot of allergies, problems, health issues, skin breakouts, rashes. So when I finally quit using sugar, about 8, 9 years ago, my health improved. I no longer have a lot allergies. I'm no longer allergic to cats and dogs. Before, if you place a cat in my lap, the next stop for me would have been the hospital, because I would have had a very severe reaction to it, allergic reaction to animals. Now animals come, I can pet them, play with them. They sit in my lap. I sometimes I would dog sit, have no problems. Because once I eliminated sugar and started taking care of my gut health by taking in sea moss gel once a day, which is great for the health, taking my herbs that contain burdock root in it, my health, my gut health is very fine now. I don't no longer have experienced bloating, indigestion, or irregularity. And here's another thing. When taking herbs, or even if you're not taking herbs, increase your water intake. Now, they recommend that you drink at least 64 ounces of water. That's applicable. Okay, when they run all these studies and they make these recommendations, they're not thinking about people of African descent. Everything you see out there is mainly designed for European people. So our bodies are more muscular. Okay, muscle is made up of what? Water. That's why when we are dehydrated, we experience severe cramping, because the muscles need water to thrive and stay healthy. So for African American people, I recommend that we drink at least 10 glasses of water per day. That's 80 ounces of water per day, because we're more muscular. And so our bodies demand more water. So it's better to drink more water instead of just sticking to 64 ounces a day. Add 2 more glasses. Make it about 86 ounces, because I think it would be more beneficial. Myself, I drink almost a gallon of water per day as recommended by Dr. Sabi, because I take herbs, and some of those herbal formulations that I formulated, and some of them contain diuretics, such as burdock root. Okay, so I increase my water intake to a gallon per day. And what I do is sip about 6 ounces of water about every hour or 12 ounces every 2 hours. And before you know it, you met your quota. And when you know you're properly hydrated, your mouth doesn't feel dry, your lips are not cracking and peeling. When your lips start to crack and peel, that's a sign of dehydration. Also, water is the cheapest form of plastic surgery anybody can ever have because it reduces the wrinkles in the skin by plumping up the skin. It flushes out toxins so we don't break out as much. It promotes gut motility. So water is your best friend. The foundation, I think, to holistic health should be hydration, staying properly hydrated. And that doesn't include coffee, carbonated beverages, or energy drinks. No, you're talking about water. And you can get water from fruits such as cucumbers, watermelon. They have high water content. Any type of melon, honeydew, cantaloupe, it has very high water content. Tomatoes. Now, if you're allergic to anything in the nightshade family, such as potatoes, then leave tomatoes alone. But like I said, don't take my advice. Go talk to your doctor who's a professional because what I offer here is just for informational and information purposes only to empower you so you can have more tools in your toolbox from which to work with. Okay? If you have questions, feel free to ask questions because I can immediately look it up and we can discuss it. Always feel free to ask questions when I do lives about the subject. Now, if it's something far out, I would just ignore it because it's not pertaining to what we're discussing. But if it's pertaining to the topic, like today we're discussing herbs, gut health, and things like that, feel free to ask a question. And if I don't know, I'll look it up. And even if I do know, I'll still look it up. So it's back with sound advice from reputable sources. Okay. Never rely upon anybody outside of your doctor for like sound medical advice. That's why it's good to have a doctor that's in your corner, not someone that just treats you as a paycheck. Make sure you have a doctor that knows about integrated medicine. That is the combination of herbal medicine, which is traditional ancient medicine, and Western medicine. Because I think combining the two, they work well together, they complement each other. I am not against Western medicine. When I broke my ankle many years ago, I went to the surgery center. Someone giving me herbs and burdock root wouldn't have helped. I went and got surgery first. Okay, and then after I had the surgery, then I would take the herbs or whatever I needed to flush the toxins from the anesthesia and the drugs that they used during the procedure out of my body. So Western medicine and traditional ancient medicine, the mother medicine, goes together really well, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm not against going to medical doctors. Like I said, I have a great medical doctor. And I had the previous one I had was awesome because they communicate with me and I communicate with them and I let them, please let your doctor know what you're doing. Say if you're going to take a new vitamin supplement, ask your doctor, hey, I'm thinking about trying Centrum, or I'm thinking about taking burdock root, or I'm thinking about valerian root. What do you think about it? And today, the doctors, they have like a little tablet and they can look up on there too and pull up information for you and them to discuss. But do your homework on the herbs. There are many sources out there, but make sure you go to a reliable source such as the Mayo Clinic, Healthline, and even though they're centered on allopathic medicine, they do discuss herbal medicine. There's a guy that I would check out. I can look him up, but I would go and get information on herbs because there are many sources that discuss herbs and they discuss it thoroughly. They discuss the studies. They offer you the links to those studies. More and more these days, doctors are writing papers on the efficacy of herbs because more and more people are switching to traditional medicine or they're choosing to combine traditional medicine with Western medicine, because you still need Westernized medicine to have your lab work done, because you need to know what's going on. You can't do anything if you're moving blind in the dark. So you want to know what's going on inside your body. We may have high cholesterol and don't know it, and we're thinking, why are we always out of breath? Cholesterol is the lipids that adhere to the inside of your vessels, of your blood vessels. It's like a pipe in the kitchen. The more gunk that gets stuck to the walls of that pipe, the slower the water flows down the drain. But when that pipe is cleared by Rooter or somebody, the water just flows down rapidly. That's the same thing with our blood vessels. When they're clogged up with LDLs, that is the bad cholesterol. When it's clogged up, the blood has a more difficult time in getting through that narrow opening. Healthy, if it's open like this, but more of the LDLs that accumulate on the walls of the vessel, the narrow those vessels become, leading to hypertension, high blood pressure. And what is that? Is when the heart has to pump harder to move that blood through your vessels, because the vessels are becoming increasingly blocked with LDLs, bad cholesterol. And that comes from consuming too many dairy products. So you have to, drinking alcohol. Consuming too much alcohol leads to high cholesterol levels. And you don't want your cholesterols to be high. So what the doctor would tell you, a good cholesterol level, so a good cholesterol level, raw levels for adults. So that would be, cholesterol. Okay, let's say cholesterol levels. So you want to make sure that those levels are even, okay? So the term good cholesterol refers to HDL, high density lipoprotein. Okay, those are the good ones you want to have. Okay, so the normal range for HDLs is cited as 40 to 80 milligrams. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have good cholesterol levels. So a good cholesterol level. What is a good cholesterol level? So you want to make sure that you are in those levels, because as we age, we become vulnerable to our arteries getting clogged over time. So you want to make sure that those levels are in a good range to where your heart is not working overtime to move the blood through your health. So the range, total cholesterol, adult range, should be between 125 and maybe 160. Okay, 125 and 160. That's a good cholesterol range for total cholesterol. That includes the HDLs and LDLs. Okay, so you want to be in that range between 125 and about 150. That's a good range, because you don't want to go high. Okay, one time my cholesterol was about 200 and higher. My doctor informed me, you got to reduce your cholesterol levels. And back then I was addicted to eating eggs and cheese. That was jacking up my cholesterol levels by clogging up my arteries with LDLs. That's the bad cholesterol. Once I stopped eating eggs, or reduced the amount of eggs that I consumed, that was back then before I went vegan. Once I reduced the eggs, the cholesterol levels decreased. So it all starts at the table. You can eat to live, or you can eat to die. And there's a book written by Elijah Muhammad, the founder of the Nation of Islam. Now, I'm not a Muslim, but when I was a kid, I read that book almost 50 years ago. It wasn't 40 years ago, it was 50 years ago, because I was about 11 years old. I'm 61 now. So I read that book and it changed my life as a child. And I knew right then and there, I said, you know what? I'm going to try to follow this book because I want to eat to live. I knew that all that pork and grease that they was forcing me to eat in that foster place, it was not helping me. So I decided to live as a vegetarian. For a while, I was an ovo-lactose vegetarian, but then I switched to just being a vegetarian. It takes time, okay? Because we're a lot of times become naturally addicted to junk food, okay? So um, the takeaway is valerian is very beneficial. So is burdock root. Valerian is good for insomnia, calming down the nervous system, reducing stress levels. Burdock root is excellent for gut health, along with cascarda, sagarda. That's another herb that's great for gut health. Okay, and to always be mindful of your cholesterol levels. Um, Make sure you ask your doctor for a cholesterol test. Now, I think to do a cholesterol test, you have to do a fasting the night before. Um, but it's worth getting it checked at least 3 times a year. So you know what's going on inside your vessels because high cholesterol can lead to cardiac arrest and complications with your heart, as well as damage to your vessels, your blood vessels. So you only get one body. We only get one body here. We can't transplant our heads to a healthier or younger body. You know, there's no Frankenstein medicine available to do that. So we only have one body. So you want to take care of it as best you can with what you have. Okay? So the first step to self-love is taking care of your body. Now, Dan Norris, he mentioned olive oil. Now we're going to look up before I go, olive oil, because I see it down in the chat. Olive oil benefits. The Mediterranean people uses it for centuries, for thousands of years, and those people look great. Okay, we're talking about cholesterol. So guess what? Olive oil lowers LDLs, the bad cholesterol. It lowers it. Replacing saturated fats with olive oil help decrease LDL, bad cholesterol, which lowers the risk of heart disease. Check that out. Thank you, Dan, for mentioning olive oil. And it raises the good HDLs, the good cholesterol, which helps remove excess cholesterol from blood vessels. It removes that plaque from your blood vessels. Okay, it's rich in antioxidants and polyphenols. These plant compounds in extra virgin olive oil reduce inflammation, help protect blood vessels, and inhibit cholesterol oxidation, which is an important factor in heart disease. It supports heart health. So olive oil is very good for heart health. Okay? Okay, it improves blood lipids. Studies show that olive oil improves overall cholesterol profile, lowers LDL while raising HDLs, and reduces the triglycerides. Anti-inflammatory effects. Okay, it helps reduce inflammation markers throughout the body. So olive oil's monosaturated fats and polyphenols, it reduces that hot soreness that we get throughout our bodies at times. Okay, and it protects chronic diseases. Benefits extend to reducing risk of metabolic syndrome, certain cancers, and supporting healthy aging. Okay, I use olive oil all the time. I blend my herbs. I have this because I take edible cannabis, but what I do, I get a serum and I add it to about 16 to 20 ounces of olive oil. And throughout the month, I take that olive oil in micro doses. So I take olive oil at least a tablespoon or more olive oil daily, and it does help. Olive oil is your best friend. It's an ancient oil. It's not a hybrid. It's even on Dr. Sabi's nutritional guide list. It's included there because olive oil is very good for you. So it's very good in fighting cholesterol. So that's a good way to close out. And thank you, Dan, for mentioning um, olive oil. Thank you very much because I appreciate input from the audience. This is a two-way thing. You put in suggestions and I can look at them. And if they're pertaining to what we're discussing, I can look it up quickly and add it to the discussion. Okay? Thank you for your time. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy yourself and be blessed. Take care. Namaste.